Well, welcome back. President Biden will deliver his first State of the Union address tonight with a new plan to lower costs for Americans, apparently. This as the country deals with the tail end of the pandemic, record-breaking inflation, and a geopolitical conflict between Russia and Ukraine, a war that is underway as we speak. Joining me right now is Florida Congresswoman, House Homeland Security and House Agricultural Committee member Cammack. And Congresswoman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. What are you expecting from President Biden tonight?
Well, good morning, Maria. And, you know, the State of the Union is traditionally a crowning achievement for the current administration to talk about what they've accomplished in the past year and what's to look ahead. So for me, this is going to be the shortest speech in American history because the list of accomplishments is non-existent and the look ahead for this administration is pretty bleak. You know, if he was going to be honest, I think he would be only able to talk about the mandates, the inflation, crime, the world conflict that we're seeing unfolding before our eyes. My expectations are pretty low. And someone asked me earlier, if you had to sum it up in a word, what you think this State of the Union is going to be, the word that came to mind was bloviate. That's just a nicer way of saying, I think we're going to see a lot of smoke being blown up our skirts.
Well, how's he going to avoid all of these fires across the country? You know, the first line of the speech is typically the State of the Union is. Can he say the State of the Union is strong as we watch new satellite images showing a 40-mile-long convoy of Russian military vehicles headed toward Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, today? We see countries announcing sanctions against Moscow as the International Criminal Court plans an investigation over potential war crimes. And we look domestically and we see inflation at a 40-year high, and we see oil prices reacting to the war in Ukraine. Ukraine says Russia used cluster and vacuum bombs, both condemned by the international organizations. Is that going to come up?
You know, I think he has to address Ukraine. But what his entire administration has been about is a chaos here at home and chaos abroad. If you look abroad, you see what is happening and playing out in large part due to the weakness exhibited by Biden. You've got Putin playing chess, Biden's playing checkers, and the chessboard has become Eastern Europe. Here at home, you have inflation, mandates, crime. It has been all about every single thing that they can do to make life harder and people more dependent on government. And so the State of the Union, I don't think he can say in all fairness that things are rock solid here at home. You can't walk down the sidewalk without tripping over one of his crises, you know, be it the southern border. I mean, we have the opioid epidemic that took 100,000 plus lives last year. He's going to be talking about climate change, and that's what they're going to be focused on, COVID and climate change. But we know that the number one death of Americans between 18 and 45, it was opioids, not climate change, not COVID. Yeah. They're in an alternate reality.
Well, and it's partly because of fentanyl. Look, I suspect the president will talk about the first black woman nominated for the Supreme Court, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. I suspect he will try to talk about Build Back Better. But you're right. We're seeing a record amount of fentanyl entering the country from the southern border. Fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans 18 to 45. But do you think he'll even mention the word? I haven't heard him mention fentanyl at all in his first year in office.
You know, Maria, I don't think he will, which is really a slap in the face to the families and the communities that are being ravaged by this opioid epidemic. And I know for a fact that Democrats will do everything they can to avoid the topic because they had an opportunity. Just a few weeks ago, we had brought the Halt Fentanyl Act to the House floor for a vote to make this a Schedule I permanent drug that would enforce tougher penalties for those selling it. And they voted it down. So they're doing everything they can to just check a box rather than actually make progress and do what is best for the country rather than a political party. It's really a shame. And like I said, it seems like we're living in an alternate reality.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy joined me a couple of weeks ago and told me about the Democrats just not wanting to deal with the fentanyl problem, as you just referred to. I'm with Alex Sanchez this morning, and Alex, jump in.
Hey, thank you, Maria. Thank you. Congresswoman, so great to see you. Thank you for your leadership for our state. You know, I wanted to shift gears a little bit. You know, obviously we have a crisis on hand here with Ukraine. But how confident are you, Congresswoman, of what the efforts are of the Biden administration with Taiwan and China? I mean, that is another major crisis waiting to happen. And what is the administration doing to send a strong message to China? Hey, lay your hands off Taiwan, where, by the way, 60% of the computer chips are made globally. And we've all known for years now, President Xi has said time and time again publicly he wants Taiwan to be part of mainland China. What are your thoughts on that? What is the administration doing to secure Taiwan's future as an independent country?
Well, and that's a fantastic point. What is happening now in the Ukraine is emboldening China. We, the United States, were giving intelligence to mainland China with regard to Russia, and they were turning it over to Russia. This is not a situation where China is our friend. They are seeing what we are doing, watching very carefully what our reaction and the world's reaction is in Ukraine, and taking their cues. We saw within the first 48 hours of Russian boots on the ground in Ukraine, there were 9 aircraft, Chinese aircraft flying in Taiwanese airspace. This is going to be a very, very curious and cautious 48, 72 hours here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much, Kat. Thank you very much.